Darko Rajakovic in the game was willing to try things and experiment with the rotation and get somebody else involved in the rotation a little bit more. And this is off the back of something I mentioned last week on the channel. So let's further investigate how the minutes were handled between Jamison Battle and Gradey Dick. Because last week, I was talking about this, and I said that what is Gradey Dick doing right now that Jamison Battle would not be doing? Gradey Dick has been such a liability out there for the Raptors, and I want him to succeed. I want him to succeed. That's all I want. I think he's a terrific player when he's on it. He's a fantastic shooter. He brings something different to the team that we desperately need in shooting, but he hasn't shot the ball well this season. That's really all he does. You know, he can put in some hustle plays, but that's really like that is his game. He hits threes. He's not attacking the rim, and if he does, it's off the back of aggressive closeouts because he should be shooting well from three. He's not a playmaker. He's not creating offense for other people. Like, he's a floor spacer. That's what he does. And he's an awful defender. So he has to make up for the awful defense by being a shooter and being a floor spacer. When Gradey Dick on the season is shooting 30.8% from three, you have to kind of wonder here, like, what is he really doing that warrants that play time over a guy like Jamison Battle? I don't think Jamison Battle is like this outstanding player, but like, what is Gradey Dick doing that Jamison Battle couldn't be doing? Because at least I have more confidence right now in Jamison Battle knocking down some shots, and he's certainly a superior defender to Gradey Dick. And when I talked about it last week, it was the day that Jamison Battle actually got sent down to the 905. So I was like, well, clearly we aren't going in this direction because Jamison Battle is now going to the 905 to get some more game time and opportunities there. Well, as it turns out, Jamison Battle is playing. And maybe it was like just going down to 905 to get game reps and get that kind of game shape in. I don't know what it was. But in the first quarter, the sub that typically would be Gradey Dick coming into the game actually was Jamison Battle coming into the game. And he ended up getting 9 minutes. Still, Gradey Dick got some game time. They put him in to start the second quarter, and I think he played in the second half. I'm not sure exactly which phase, but he didn't have any impact on the game. He didn't take a single shot. He turned the ball over on an occasion. He got a steal, but he turned the ball over pretty sloppily on an occasion. -6. And again, it's just kind of like, I don't know if it's like some transition or something they're doing from Gradey to Battle, but to me, like, yeah, you want to get these guys in rhythm. You want to get your shooter in rhythm and give him game time. I don't see any point of distributing the minutes like this, where Jamison Battle gets 9 minutes and Gradey Dick gets 6 minutes, excuse me. Like, just give Battle the 15. Just take Gradey Dick out of rotation. Give Battle the 15 minutes. Give him the opportunity here. I wouldn't go as far as to say like Battle's earned the opportunity, but he has had some good games this season, and I would say he's earned it because like Gradey Dick has given up this spot in the rotation. Like, you can't play Gradey Dick right now. It's just such a negative to have him out there on the court that, like, why not try and do something here with a player like Jamison Battle? So I don't know what the thought process was for this game, but again, like, splitting the minutes, it just doesn't really make sense to me. And I talked about there, wanting to have the guy here, the shooter, get some more game time, some more of a runway to play. And for Gradey Dick, like, I get there's been some complications this season for his minutes on any given night. He doesn't know exactly what his role is going to be, how many minutes he is going to get, when he's going to get taken off, and things like that. But at the end of the day, like the minutes, it's the NBA. We're a 5 seed. We are right now 10 games above 500. This is a 5 seed Raptors team vying for a top 4 spot. This isn't a back-to-back years of tanking. This isn't tanking anymore. This isn't development anymore. This is trying to win basketball games. These minutes, it's not charity here. We can't just give him minutes for the sake of it. Some players, look, they've done enough where, like, you want to give them an extra bit of play time because, like, you want them to show their stuff and get in rhythm and get the confidence back up. But at a certain point, the player needs to produce something on the floor to warrant those extra minutes. Like, you can't just be doing nothing and get the extra play time because, we want to give you the chance to build confidence, the chance to get in rhythm and things like that. Like, Gradey Dick has had those chances. He's played plenty this season. He's gotten loads of opportunities this season. He's absolutely not taking it. Like, even with the lack of minutes lately, he is still averaging 16 minutes a game this season. So it's not as if he's not getting the opportunity to show his stuff. He's just absolutely not producing. 3-point percentage is down big time. Point output is down big time. And I know it's a different role than last season because last season he played 54 games. He started all 54 of those games. But, you acquire Brandon Ingram, like, a good player needs to be able to adapt to different roles. And Gradey Dick had to adapt to the bench role. And you know what? Honestly, with the style that Gradey Dick brought, the shooter that the team doesn't have, I think he had a case to potentially take over one of the starting spots. And perhaps if Gradey Dick had been more convincing near the end of last season, he could have dethroned RJ Barrett's position in the starting five this year, and the Raptors could have pushed. I'm not saying RJ would have gone to the bench. I'm saying perhaps the Raptors would have pushed even harder to move RJ Barrett to promote Gradey Dick to that position in the rotation. Who knows if that would have been the case, but it's not like Gradey Dick was banging on the door of that position. It wasn't like a situation where, like, it wasn't like a Norman Powell situation where, like, we need to find a way to start this guy. That hasn't been the case. So the opportunities have been there for the player. Again, at a certain point, the player, they need to be able to produce enough to warrant that play time. And Gradey Dick, who I'm a fan of and I want to see him succeed, has just not done that this season. And I talked about it last week, but, like, the contract situation, like, how much jeopardy is there towards his NBA career at the moment? Would it be, like, the most shocking thing in the world if the Raptors just didn't take the team option for next year? I don't think it would be the most shocking thing. I'd still be quite surprised, but maybe there's an internal discussion there. Do you want the $7 million there? I think, to be honest, that $7.1 million he's owed next season becomes more valuable as a trade chip. Like, next season, RJ Barrett's making $29 million, I think it is. Gradey Dick's making $7.1. Like, that's $36 million of expiring salary that a team could look to take on, and the Raptors could look to try and manufacture a trade somewhere. We're at the point now where, going to his fourth year, his value is that of being an expiring contract to help salary match in a trade. And that's just kind of a disastrous situation for a player who was selected in the lottery, albeit as a 13th overall pick. That's just kind of a disastrous situation. Now, there's still time left in this season, plenty of games left in this season, over 20 games remaining. And there's still a whole season next year, and at least the start of the season, you would think, for him to kind of change things here. But as it is right now, I just don't see a future for Gradey Dick on the Raptors, at the very least in the short term. In the short term, Jamison Battle's got to play. Jamison Battle has got to get these minutes, and it can't be Sharon here. One or the other. Give that guy the chance to play. Jamison Battle, I think this is the time for him to get his chance. It is up to him, though, to seize that opportunity and make use of it. And if he can, that's excellent news for the Raptors, because this guy can freaking shoot. You look at him on the season, albeit in a small sample, 1.3 3-point attempts per game. He's shooting 42% from three, 51% from the field. I think it's worthwhile to go with him for the time being, but let me know what you think.